Hi everyone,
Okay.
welcome. Hi everyone, welcome back to uh, Old Monk Nights. It's been nearly 3 months since we posted our first episode. Welcome to the second one, and hopefully more regular ones going forward from here. So, as you can see, my guest today is Arvind Bhaskaran or Ari, who's, as you can see, is a big Liverpool fan. Apart from being a big
Yeah.
Liverpool fan, also the he's also the logistics king. So if you need anything parcel to your place through DHL, just let him know. Uh,
Don't message me if your courier has not reached you. Anything else related to logistics, sure, but don't
no,
message
you
me if
can
your
message
courier.
him whenever you want to. It's okay. He's based out of Germany, so just keep the time zone in. He's based out of Germany, so keep the time zone in consideration before messaging him. That's all. So, so anyways, Ari, welcome to the show. Yeah, we are today going to discuss EPL, that's the English Premier League, and we are going to follow the same structure which we did in our first podcast, which was we go through three questions, discuss it, trying to be humorous in between, but mostly since it's football, it's serious business, so it's going to be damn serious. As you can see, Ari has come with all the
Fully
preparation.
prepared.
He
Yes.
seems to be sitting at Anfield and discussing this with us right now.
It's a
So
dream. One day it'll actually happen.
yes, and I think I can also go to Old Trafford someday. Okay, all right. So uh, before we start, Ari, do you want to give a brief introduction of yourself just to the people who are listening?
I won't get into the boring details of my background of my professional life, obviously, but I'll give more details of why I'm wearing this jersey and my football background. But yeah, no, I am living in Germany, yeah, but I've been in India and followed football from India since like 2000, I would say. I have been a Liverpool fan for pretty much since then almost. I don't think I need to explain why I'm a Liverpool fan. There's enough history there. Any football fan would know why anyone follows Liverpool. As much as rival clubs would want to kind of needle Liverpool fans and say why, and all, they also deep down know why anyone supports Liverpool. So yeah, but yeah, I've been a Liverpool fan for almost more than 20 years now.
Wow. Okay, so that's great. A little bit of my background, though I'm not wearing the jersey today, but I'm a big Manchester United fan. I've been a fan since I think 2002-3 season. So and yeah, and initially it was all hunky dory, but the last 7-8 years have been not so great. Anyways, uh, now the first question which we wanted to discuss, obviously, as you guys can see, we both are Indians. We have lived in India majority of our life. So why then are we so passionate about EPL, which is the English Premier League? Why not be passionate about the ISL, Indian Soccer League? Eric, you start, then I will jump in.
Yeah. I think there are a couple of elements to it. One is the kind of visibility the Premier League gets, not just in India. Obviously, it has gotten that kind of visibility ever since it was started being broadcast in like the early 2000s or like almost late 90s, I would say. I don't think any other league has come close to getting the kind of visibility. They tried a lot with the Indian Super League. I think the Indian Super League has built a kind of a fan base, at least in some of the more football crazy cities like Kolkata, Goa, some of these places. You can see there's a bit of a fan base. I know I have friends who do talk about their clubs from their cities in the ISL, but I think it hasn't gotten the kind of visibility that the European leagues have gotten in India, and particularly the Premier League. So broadcasting has a lot to do with it. There's also this bit of a glam quotient that comes with your marquee stars. Like it started with the likes of Ronaldo and Beckham. Now it is obviously the other Ronaldo, the goat, if some people want to call him, and Messi and all the others. But it's I think it's got to do a lot with broadcasting. It's exciting. I think footballers themselves regularly speak about the English Premier League, how it is the most exciting league on the planet. So uh, that excitement element is definitely there. But yeah, it comes down to just the visibility I think it has got. What do you think?
For me, there are a couple of things for this one. See, one is obviously, as you said, right, the way it was broadcast since the early 2000s in India, it caught your eye, right? Uh, it, it, it is something which had a pre-match, match, and a post-match thing. And obviously, if you support a team, you would want to watch it. Also, the way I think Star has done it in India is fabulous in the sense that they have so many channels dedicated to only English Premier League. I mean, when I was in India at that point of time, at least. Now I'm not very sure what's the status, but they you could see all the 20 matches at one point of time, give or take between the channels. Uh, the way it was presented obviously was very different from how you perceive a sporting event to be transmitted to your screens. Secondly, I think one thing which really why is EPL so much more followed is also because it had the first mover advantage in India. It it came in before any of the other leagues started coming in, and at that point of time, India I don't think was perceived as even a market by the other leagues. But
Yeah, that was like the
um,
IT boom time, right? It was
yeah,
just
exactly.
starting to simmer and starting to show its
Right
potential.
when
Yeah,
people were becoming more and more economically independent and moving to the bigger cities and starting living in the bigger cities and aspiring to be global, this thing came in, and it sort of caught the fancy of a lot of people, both young and old. I remember my granddad. Uh, I was brought up in Ranchi, so and we had cable at that point of time, and there used to be channels which used to be selected by the cable operator, which would beam to your
yeah,
television screens. So whenever there was on Saturday or Sunday, my granddad would always get in a fight with the cable operator to show the English Premier League matches instead of whatever cricket match was going on at that point of time, because the rest of the market at that point of time would be watching obviously cricket and not football. But
yeah,
yeah, and that's how I got into it. Every Saturday or Sunday in the evening, my granddad will just switch it on, and we will both watch it. And he also used to support Manchester United at that point of time. Uh, he didn't know the name that well, but he said that this team in red plays really well. So yeah, that's how I got into it. And my
yeah. And at that
granddad,
time, I think the Star was only primarily showing Manchester United matches because
yes,
David
correct,
Beckham.
exactly.
Because
So
they used
if
David
if
Beckham
you
as a hook to get Indian people to start watching football.
Yeah, so if you
Yeah,
see all the older fans, you will mostly find Manchester United fans because Manchester United was damn successful at that point of time, winning each and
yeah,
every season nearly, and the only team which came close was Arsenal at that point of time. So with Thierry Henry and everyone, so it sort of grew from there. Then when I moved to Mumbai, I was in my engineering college. I met a few people who were really passionate about the other clubs like uh, Chelsea after Abramovich bought it, not before that,
yeah.
obviously. There were a few Liverpool fans here and there, but mostly it was always Manchester United and Arsenal, if you
Some
ask.
Arsenal. They
Yeah.
call themselves a purists.
Yeah, so whatever they call themselves, I do not want to get into it, but so the journey started from there, and I think it's more to be, I think, more than being an Indian, I think it is more about being a sports fan, that you want to see sports. So even if I don't have anything to do and I'm browsing through the channels, I will most probably stop on a sports channel than anything else and just watch whatever is coming on. So
Yeah,
yeah, I mean, that is why it is. And then obviously, as the time went on, more and more clubs came, more and more people became fans of the other clubs. So there was a healthy rivalry going on, and you would watch it with your friends, and that is why people became more and more passionate, because there's a lot of trash talk involved, obviously, and
yeah,
you want your you want your club to do well so that you can brag about it to everyone. So I think that
yeah,
is
yeah.
why
Another
people
thing,
are passionate
yeah,
about it.
yeah. Another reason I think why football caught up so much is because I think a lot of, at least our generation of Indians, have a very limited attention span. And that way 90 minutes of football works really well. That's why the IPL also is doing so well, right? I mean,
Yeah.
you have people who want to talk about watching test cricket, but ultimately everyone watches IPL because it's done in 3 hours. Similarly, football does well because it's done in 90 minutes. And
Yeah.
that's why any sport, if you see that is done within like a 2 hour, 3 hour time frame, whether it's like tennis, Formula One, basketball, football, all of these do well. Any sport that takes a much longer time doesn't really do that well. But yeah, I mean, I think, yeah, you mentioned rightly. I mean, football kind of had a first mover advantage because I remember even like the late 90s, it was only either cricket, like ODIs or test matches, or at most once in a while, Wimbledon we used to watch. Wimbledon was broadcast at that time.
Yeah,
That was
correct.
the only thing that used to be, be worth watching as far as sports is concerned. So football in that way, had that kind of entry point where there was something that people wanted to watch for a couple of hours, which was exciting, but at the same time, which was new to them. Yeah, so in that way, that worked really well for the Premier League, I think.
Okay,
Yeah,
so whoever follows the EPL in India, I think follows it very passionately, and actually EPL is followed very passionately across the world right now. So we don't have to really talk much more about it.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Moving on to the next question, and this is a very controversial one. So I mean, let's see. Uh, is money equal to success in EPL?
I would have to say, unfortunately, looking at things now, and especially looking at the Newcastle United story now, I mean, the Newcastle United story is new. We have to see whether it equals success. But if you look at the likes of Manchester City, Chelsea, sure, they have new money coming in, basically oil money coming in. But even if you look at the clubs that have historically been successful outside England also, so Barcelona, Real Madrid, in England, Manchester United, Liverpool, all of them have had solid financial backing when they had success. They were able to attract the best players because they had the money. You have to pay lots of money to the best players to achieve success, right? So I think there are some exceptions. You had Leicester City as an exception, which had some money, not a lot of money. They have Thai owners, but not the kind of money that the likes of Manchester United, Liverpool have. Um, you have some other success stories like Aston Villa had a great season last year with not a lot of money. Leeds had a great season, have come from nowhere. So I think now there are teams that are starting to come up and start to challenge, some of the top teams. But to reach the pinnacle, I think there is that little step jump that, in terms of money, that a lot of teams have. That you could say maybe the top 4 or 5 teams in England have that the rest don't have. It is an unfortunate situation, but I think that's the reality. We are living in a world that is, at least the sports world, is quite capitalistic. People will follow the money. Footballers will follow the money. Agents will follow the money. So in that way, recent success has been driven by money. But I think money will, if you look at, for example, Manchester City, they got a lot of money 10 years ago when they were bought by the Sheikhs from Abu Dhabi. But they were able to sustain success only by playing a brand of football under Pep Guardiola, which is not defined by money. It is defined by footballing philosophy. So yes, money is there, but if you look at the way the team is composed right now, there is no headline player who is like paid like crazy amounts of money, and is there just to sell jerseys and merchandise, right? I mean, their team. You look at the likes of Kevin De Bruyne, Ruben Diaz, Phil Foden, who's an up and coming star. None of them are going to sell jerseys, but they are playing a brand of football that is getting them success. But all that has been built on the back of some financial backing. So I think money will get you to a certain level, but to stay at that level, you need to have footballing philosophy also. Yeah,
Okay, I think for me it's a bit more tricky because of Manchester City, very frankly speaking.
yeah,
If you're if see if I'm an United fan and if City wins the league or FA Cup or whatever, it's all because of the money which they have got. I do not look at the footballing philosophy which might be followed there. First of all, City was always the number two team in Manchester,
yeah,
and will always be the number two team in Manchester, no matter what anyone says. But then
The
they
noisy
only,
neighbors.
yeah. So as Alex Ferguson famously said, noisy neighbors. So, so the thing is that for let's say for Manchester City, right? Once it was bought around 10 years ago, there was influx of cash, and their team definitely took a step up, right? From people who were not even Premier League level talent, I would say, to to the stars like Tevez and all to the stars like Tevez and like a couple of more at that point of time. Sean Wright Phillips, if I remember correctly. So
Robinho came in. Robinho is the
yeah,
first big
Robinho came
signing
through
that
for some
when
time.
the
Yeah,
Sheikhs
so they
bought the
had
club.
they
Yeah,
had a they had a spree of marquee signings at that point of time, and that's how they came into contention, right? And if you go for a bit further back, I have major grievances against Chelsea for the same thing, because I still remember till the time Chelsea was not brought by Abramovich, hardly anybody knew any Chelsea fans ever. And all of a sudden, it is bought by Abramovich. You have new players coming in like Lampard, uh, Joe Cole, Ashley Young, and uh,
Shevchenko.
Shevchenko, and all of
What a
these guys
signing he
coming
was.
in. And all of a sudden, there is a whole gaggle of Chelsea fans saying that, hey, yeah, we will. And you ask them, okay, fine. From when are you following Chelsea? Most of them will say 2006, 2007, or something like that,
Yeah,
because that's when Abramovich took over. So, so that is my main gripe with all of this is that okay, fine, if a club is bought by some rich person and they pump in and they're willing to pump in the money to take it to the next level, well and good. But I just don't like people who become fans out of nowhere, because you were supporting Manchester United the day before and now you're supporting Chelsea just because there is some new toy, new shining toy in the market. So, so that is where it all stems from. But as you said, right, obviously they can take the step up, but to maintain that after taking the step up, obviously they need to be they need good managers, obviously, to work on their footballing philosophy.
yeah,
I think if you see, Chelsea in fact has a very good fan base now, but Manchester City, if you see, is still struggling. I mean, they cannot fill up their stadium also sometimes for
yeah,
home games, right? So it's just the money that is bringing in players. But let's say a Ronaldo, if he would have gone to Manchester City, it would have done great for the number of people coming and attending the matches, rather than he coming back to Manchester United, which will always be Old Trafford will always be full.
yeah. I think what's happening in India, at least till when I saw when before I moved to Germany 3 years ago, um, when football started being broadcast, of course, you had the Manchester United, Arsenal, Liverpool supporters. Chelsea supporters started coming in 2004 once Abramovich took over. But after that, you had a very solid fan base of our generation of people who had very clear loyalties. And I think the next generation is being influenced by that, which is why you don't see too many Manchester City fans, because they are influenced by our generation and the kind of football clubs we support. So even though Manchester City is doing so well, you there were no Manchester City fans originally from
Yeah,
15
because
years ago,
Manchester
20 years
City was
ago.
in and out of the Premier League at that point of time. Like
Yeah,
they will
yeah,
come
yeah.
in for a couple of seasons, they will go down again.
Yeah. So if you look at, people who are like in their early 20s now, or late teens, they are looking at people who are like our age, and they are looking at the kind of clubs we support and the kind of presence that is there for our clubs. And they see, okay, it'll look odd if I support Manchester City because everyone is supporting other clubs, so I should support one of those clubs. So, which is why I think that's why Manchester City is also trying to build this kind of presence by, they have the City Football Group, they have Mumbai City Football Club as a part of it. They're trying to do that, but organically it is very difficult to build because of the kind of loyalties that have already been built up within not just India and most of the countries where the Premier League is popular. So it's going to be a tough job. Now it's going to be interesting to see if we suddenly have a huge surge of Newcastle United fans over the next 5 years.
That is a very
Yeah,
interesting story, actually. So the whole internet broke when the, like, at least the footballing internet, so to say, broke when the news broke out that Mohammed bin Salman, right? Taking over the
Crown
club,
Prince.
who's like they
No,
are.
so that's where we need to be careful. So the entire idea behind the Saudi Public Investment Fund taking over and why the Premier League has now agreed to it, and they rejected it last year,
Yeah,
was that the Crown Prince and the Saudi state will not be involved in the running of the club.
correct.
I mean, that's technically how they have allowed it and how it's going to be run. We know how realities will be. The chairman of the Public Investment Fund is the Crown Prince. He's not on the board of Newcastle United, but he
But
is
the
the
money will
chairman
be
of the
coming
fund that's
from
going to
his
run it.
pocket, right? So,
Exactly, exactly.
so
So,
he would want his
yeah,
name to be associated with one of the best clubs in Europe.
yeah,
Taking over
yeah.
the 19th place club in the Premier League is a bold step in that direction. I mean, he
It's
could have bought out
it's
any of the big ones, right? He could have easily bought
but
out any one of the
it's
big ones.
yeah, it's a very fascinating story, the entire saga of how this has happened and what the Southeast state is trying to do. They've been on this campaign for the last 5 years of trying to transform their entire image of how Saudi is perceived as a country externally. They
You,
have this whole thing called
WWE runs shows in Saudi.
exactly. So they're using sports as a one of the pillars for transforming their image. They have this thing called Vision 2030 that they are working towards. There's this whole fancy thing on the. They have a website for it. There's a PDF document that a bunch of consultants have created for setting out their vision and all that. But they have this entire thing of they want to transform their vision. They don't want to be perceived as a very whatever conservative. You know the kind of image that they have now. And the second thing is clearly, I mean, they have realized that if they continue their economy the way it's going now with the dependency on oil, they are going to be absolutely messed up in the next 30 years because everyone is moving towards renewables. So oil demand is going to fall, oil prices are going to fall. So they know that they need other ways of generating revenue. So they have this entire campaign, PR campaign going on to try and attract investment into Saudi Arabia. And sports is one of the pillars. So they have, as you mentioned, the WWE Crown Jewel event, which is going to happen again very soon, I
21st of
think.
October.
Yeah, yeah, that
Sorry,
happens every year.
I mean, WWE is my guilty pleasure, guys. So, I mean, sorry about
It is for a lot of people, I know.
that.
Yeah, but yeah. So and then they have a Formula One race also now being scheduled in Saudi Arabia. They have now looked to purchase a football club for a long time now, and they finally got Newcastle United. And the rumors are just like how the Abu Dhabi Sheikhs have built this entire city football group. They want to do something similar. So they're looking at the likes of Marseille and Inter Milan to build this entire brand of Saudi football investment. It's a fascinating story. And last year they almost got,
Yeah.
at July 2020, they almost took over the club. That entire transaction failed. The story behind that transaction failing is also another amazing story. But now they finally have got it through with assurances that the Saudi state will not be involved in the running of the club. But it's going to be amazing to see. Firstly, will footballers come to the club, come to Newcastle just because of the money? Because given the
And
background of the
Newcastle's
club
weather
is,
is not that great, I've heard. Like it's cold and
yeah,
it's always rainy.
yeah, yeah. But Newcastle, there are clubs like Newcastle, Leeds, Birmingham. Some of these clubs have such loyal and
I
good fans
mean,
with
you
such
could. I
heritage.
saw a few videos on YouTube of the fans celebrating. It was as if they
Yeah,
have already won the Premier League.
yeah, yeah.
So,
But they have a very, very loyal fan. I mean,
yeah.
their core fan base is very loyal. There have been fans who are stuck with them for like 30 years, 40 years, despite all their ups and downs. So they're a very pure football club, Newcastle United. So it's going to be very interesting to see how they now accept these new owners. They did not accept their previous owner at all.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
was a disaster, Mike Ashley.
yeah.
So they, of course, they are celebrating because they know the money is coming. But now, if it doesn't work out, if they're not able to attract the right players, it's going to be interesting to see if they
Okay.
stick with these
That
owners or
that
not.
leads me into a very interesting question. Will Steve Bruce be fired?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you've seen that he is not the kind of guy who's going to attract and Kylian Mbappe,
Yeah.
right? And that's what anyone who's putting 300 million pounds into the club will want to attract, right? So you're not going to see Kylian Mbappe working with Steve Bruce.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
no, I think they're going to get in a much more glamorous guy. Maybe
Yeah.
they were
Don't
talking
say
about Antonio
Mourinho, please.
Conte,
Yeah,
and
some yeah.
Mourinho's done, I think, with England. He said he was done with England.
As it is, he's not
So
doing that
yeah.
great in Italy also right now. So yeah.
He's doing okay. I think Roma are like fourth or something. He's doing
Yeah,
okay.
I mean, it's Jose
Yeah,
Mourinho. He's the special one, right? So
yeah. No, but I think they will definitely get a more glamorous manager. I have no doubts they will attract a glamorous manager. If they attract glamorous footballers or not, I don't know. But definitely managers follow the money. We have
yeah,
seen that with Benitez, Rafa
yeah,
Benitez.
yeah, yeah.
Him joining Everton was like the
I mean,
biggest
Rafa Benitez would
stab in
be
the back
still
of Liverpool
sore
fans I've
for
seen.
Liverpool fans after all these years too, right?
I was shocked when he became an Everton manager, but it was purely for the money. I can see that. Um, but no, I can definitely see some glamorous football manager wanting a lot of money come and join Newcastle for sure. Yeah, yeah.
And let's. I will. I think next season is going to be very interesting.
Zidane could be. You never
Yeah,
know.
yeah. I mean,
Zidane is out of a job.
top six, top six plus Newcastle would be very interesting next year. I
Yeah,
think. Yeah.
that's all. So since last year, the Premier League has gotten so competitive, and literally anyone can beat anyone. I mean, last year when Aston Villa beat Liverpool 7-2, that just opened the floodgates.
Yeah,
It's
I
like
mean,
anything could
it's
happen
not as
now.
if you go into a game, watching a game, and you are certain that your team will win anymore, right? It's anybody's day, and it's not as if anybody is very tactically superior to the other team. It's usually,
Yeah.
everybody is so well scouted that doing anything new on the pitch is not easy right now.
Yeah, yeah. And especially last season, home advantage meant nothing because there were no fans. So anyone was winning anywhere. Now
Yeah.
I think it's starting to come back a little where the big teams are starting to protect their home base. So Liverpool and Chelsea are winning at home. City is winning at home. Um, y- yeah, some of the others maybe.
Yeah,
Um,
not Manchester United.
that's why I said some of the big teams are starting to win at home. So yeah,
United have been great on the road, but at home they have been not good this season again. It's very weird.
so what do you think? Ole out?
Uh, I think so. If it doesn't do well this season, if we don't finish in the top two, and with Ronaldo being in the at the club, I think he has to step out and somebody has to come in who is able to. Because see, Ronaldo also is like on the wane now, right? I don't want to say it, but he is getting older day by day. It's not as if he's still 21. So it depends. I mean, how the season pans out, but I don't think there will be a mid-season sacking. There might be change at the end of the season if needed, but let's see. I mean, I still have my
Yeah.
fingers crossed. It's still early days. Till Chris, I think everything is decided by the Christmas time. So let's see how it pans out.
But I think it is like almost sacrilege if Manchester United are not able to score at least two goals every game with the kind of firepower they have. I mean,
Yeah,
you
I
have
mean,
Fernandes,
the problem
Ronaldo,
is you
Sancho,
can score you
Greenwood,
can
Rashford.
no, but the problem is that all the good and the great teams are built on strong defense. You can have seven attackers in your team, but if you keep conceding 2 to 3 goals every match, you are not going to score 4 goals every match. You can score two, right?
Yeah.
So, but then that is what it is, right? You need a good defense, and in defense right now for United, uh, it's I don't know. I mean, it doesn't seem very settled right now. Like,
Is it defense or is it midfield?
I
Defense and
think there is
midfield.
one position which is really up for grabs in United, which is the holding midfielder.
Holding midfielder, right?
We
Yeah.
need a good one. Fred is not able to do anything. Nor McTominay he's hot and cold every week, nearly every other week. And then we don't have really anybody young. I mean, you cannot expect Pogba to be playing a defensive midfielder when he's such a good provider of goals, right?
Pogba doesn't know how to turn around and
Yeah, I mean,
track back. He only looks
you,
forward.
yeah, that's his mentality, right? That's the attacking mentality with which he plays, and having an attacking mentality is well and good. But as if you see all the great teams of United over the years, we always had a very good back four and a good goalie at
Yeah.
the end of the day, right? And that is what is missing right now. I mean, Shaw is good at left back, obviously. Uh, I don't know, man. Harry Maguire just doesn't seem cut out for it at all, sadly.
Maguire is very hot and
He's
cold.
very
Some
clunky.
games he's amazing. Yeah.
He's very clunky. He seems to be very slow sometimes on the start, on the take.
But Varane has started doing really well. He has
Yeah,
come in and
but
like
then
kind of
it,
settled the
it's
defense a bit.
yeah, it's again working in pairs at the back end, right? So if your if your central defenders are not working together, like let's say like Vidic and Ferdinand, so it becomes difficult, right? And De Gea is
Yeah.
also getting on in the years. It's not as if he's a spring chicken anymore.
But he's having an amazing last few games. Yeah.
And United has been in all the matches because of him till now. I would say the
The
defense has been.
Villarreal game, he literally kept United in the game
Yeah,
throughout. He's the only reason
yeah,
they won.
exactly. So I mean, we can have like Ronaldo, Messi, and everybody up front, but they cannot keep scoring. I mean, what the other team has to do, the other team just has to park the bus and counter attack, right? That's it, and you will be
There's this
caught out on the
video,
counter
yeah,
attack.
there's this video on YouTube I saw recently, which was essentially everything that is wrong with Fred. It's a 3-minute video of from one match, United against Southampton.
Yeah,
One match of everything Fred did wrong in that game, just 3 minutes from one match. Like the number of like he like so there were instances where there is like about 15 yards of space he has to find a pass, but he is just sticking with his opponent and not giving an option for a pass. Then there are like some 10 back passes that went wrong. It's just
yeah,
amazing.
that's what I'm saying, right?
Hilarious video.
Fred is having an awful season, right? Last season he was okay. I would say he wasn't bad. This season, there just doesn't seem to be that. I don't know. It just the touch sort of has deserted him, I would say. So what can you do? So obviously January, hopefully they will bring in a good holding midfielder, because we have more than enough attackers, man. Like we have such people like Cavani and Martial on the bench when we play with Ronaldo up front. I mean, I don't think we need anybody in the attacking right now. We have Mason Greenwood, who is doing great on the left side, right? So you have people. I mean, once Rashford comes back, it's going to be amazing up front. But then obviously your attacking midfield is also very nice. Like you have Sancho and everybody there, right? You have Fernandez, who has been a revelation at United. Nobody knew his name, I
There's
think,
a
before he
problem of
came.
plenty up front. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's all well and good, but if you keep if you keep conceding two, 1, 2, 3 goals every match, if you don't keep clean sheets, you're not going to win the league. There's no way you are going to win the league.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
so
No, yeah. Defensive midfield is, yeah, I
yeah.
was very surprised they didn't get a defensive midfielder.
So Ole has to fix two things. One, in my opinion, I mean, I'm not a great football pundit, but in my opinion, he has to fix the defensive midfielder position. Obviously, get somebody from the academy, or try something, get somebody in the January window, and then the defense he has to make it more airtight. Right now, they are leaking a lot of goals, which is not good.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It breaks your heart to see the way they attack and then the way they concede goals is so similar.
Yeah. No, I think that the only way the defense is not an easy problem to fix. The only way United can do well is to like bomb forward and score 4 goals a game. That's the only way, because they're going to concede 1 or 2 goals every game.
I mean, come on, man. Which team has scored 4 goals in each match of the season? Tell me.
Not literally, but yeah,
Yeah.
basically it's the only way they're going to win is by
Yeah, I mean,
scoring more than they
you
concede.
basically have to outgun your opponent every single time, which won't be possible in the long run.
Yeah, they're not going to keep
Can
clean
work
sheets
for
either. A lot of clean
so
sheets.
for like 7, 8 matches, but you will mess up once or twice.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyways, okay,
Cool,
okay.
cool,
I
cool.
think we had a good discussion about this. Let's move on to the next question. Okay, this is interesting, and I think it might piss a lot of people off about how we answer it. So, according to you, which Premier League has declined the most since early 2000s till now?
I mean, it's quite obvious. You have to look at the Premier League table, and there's only one team there, right? Which is the team in red and white, which once a manager with almost the same name as the club left the club. That club absolutely spiraled, which is Arsenal. It's a kind of sad one. And the sad thing for me is I have not been in touch with any of my close Arsenal fan friends ever since this has happened, because I had a lot of friends who are Arsenal fans in college and school. Not as many at work and other friends I have made. So, but it would be interesting to talk to them and see how they feel now,
I think you
because
should
they used to like really needle me when Arsenal was doing really well in the early 2000s.
send the recording of
Yeah.
this. You should send the link of this video to link of the podcast to them to have a listen.
Yeah, totally. I mean, you don't need to say anything also, right? You just need to send a screenshot of the Premier League table to them.
I mean,
Yeah, it's just I actually feel bad for them. I really do. I mean, because there's no fault of the fans, the club. It's purely just the players not turning up for the club. If you look on paper, that team and the teams that have the Arsenal teams that have been around for the last 6 7 years, on paper that team should be in the top four. But there is no passion in the team. You look at even the team now. You look at the likes of what Aubameyang and Lacazette and Xhaka are doing. They don't care. It's just like they just want to come. They look at it as a 9 to 5 job. They come, they do something, earn their paycheck, and go out. There is no passion. There is no drive. There is no purpose to what they're doing. um it's yeah you it's initially I think between like 2010 2015, once Wenger left, it was like ha ha ha, look at Arsenal now, and now it's just you feel sorry for them. It's just they just seem to be going nowhere right now.
yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. I think I mean, I was going to say Arsenal also, sadly, but early 2000s and all, obviously you hated them, but you had to grudgingly respect them at least, right?
yeah,
Because they were the invincibles at that point of time, and they had such a fabulous team with Henry and uh, Van Persie and everyone. So it seems the way they have fallen off, especially in the last couple of seasons, I would say. uh, it's that meme, right, where somebody is hitting someone and that person is already dead and you're shouting, okay, please
yeah,
stop it, he's already dead, right? So that's how I feel for Arsenal right now. I hope they turn around things and they come back stronger, but by the looks of it, it doesn't seem so, because when Henri and all and company were playing, there used to be so much of pride in playing for Arsenal. You could see in their faces they wanted to go out every match day and win. Like that's how it was. Vera in the midfield and Henry on the front and all. So these guys were really really passionate about the club. But over the years, as you said, right? It seems as if all the footballers who are there right now, they might be very passionate, but it doesn't come through across when you see them play together for some reason. Not very sure like what it is, but definitely Arsenal is one of the major declines in the last 20 years,
yeah.
I would say.
But I think if you see in terms of not just decline, but a club that has gone through it all is Leeds United. If you look at
Yeah,
the last 20 years and where Leeds were in like 2000 2001, they were playing the Champions League. They reached the Champions League, I think it
yeah,
was at semi-finals, if I'm not sure.
yeah,
But they were right up there with the likes of Harry Kewell, Mark Viduka, Rio Ferdinand started off over there.
yeah,
And them to go to third, I think the second division in England, get relegated, go through multiple ownership changes. Now it looks like under their Italian owner and Maslo Bielsa, they have a bit of a stable foundation to build on. They had a great season last time. Surged back into the Premier League, came ninth, I think it was, or something.
yeah,
Um, so there, Leeds is a club that has like literally fallen off and surged back up completely. It's an
right.
amazing story as well.
Yeah. No, for
Yeah,
Leeds, it's like a comeback story, right? It's like I still remember they used to when I used to see them play in 2004 5, they were a very attractive team to see
yeah,
how they play, right? And then to get relegated and stay relegated, right, for so
for
long.
so long. Yeah,
Yeah, and then to come back up and perform the way they did last season was admirable, I would say. Yeah. That's a very good
Yeah.
comeback story, I would
Yeah,
say.
yeah. And then that's a club now that is again, I was talking about footballing philosophy. It has been purely built on Marcelo Bielsa's footballing philosophy because it
Yep.
has, apart from you can say maybe Rafinha, there is no star player in that team. It's all
Yeah.
local people. It's all people from academy and things like that, and they are now playing as a team with a certain philosophy. So when you're talking about, is football defined by, or success defined by money now? I think Leeds United, if they can really surge back and come in the top four even in the next 2 3 years, they will prove that it's not about, all about money. It's all about playing a certain
Yeah.
way. Yeah,
Cool. Okay, I
yeah,
think that sort of covers it, and we are also, I think, nearly out of time. But before we
yeah.
sign off, a bonus question: top four for this season
Top four. I would say Liverpool, Chelsea, City, United, in
in
that
that
order.
order.
In that order.
You think Liverpool
Yeah,
is gonna win this
I
season?
really think Liverpool's gonna win. I think if you look at, and especially if Van Dijk stays fit, which I fingers crossed he will, and you look at the hunger Mo Salah has for goals again. Now, for some reason, I don't know how he has suddenly got that hunger after last season. Yeah, they're scoring goals, they're keeping clean sheets, they're almost playing like how they were playing 2 seasons ago. So I would say, I think they're going to win.
That's cool. For me, I would love to say United in the first position, but I know that's not gonna happen. But then let me be optimistic and say United, United, Liverpool, City, Chelsea. I think these will be the top four. With Tottenham might sneak in at the last moment, but you never know.
Yeah, I think that 5 6 7, it's going to be an interesting battle
Yeah,
between Spurs, Leicester.
yeah. So West
Yeah,
Ham.
West Ham is doing really well.
Yeah,
You never know if Arsenal will suddenly surge
yeah.
back.
Yeah,
It's
that,
going to be
that is
interesting.
going to be
Brighton is
cool.
up there now for
The
some reason. I don't know how they're doing it.
The Europa Club positions would be good fight, I would say. At the
Yeah,
end. Let's see.
yeah. So
Any
it's going to be a fun season for sure.
EPL is always a fun season,
Always is.
and it's an amazing season when Leicester wins.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right. I think thanks a lot, Ari, for joining today.
that's good fun. Yeah, in your own words,
Let's
we should do this more often.
Yeah, definitely. We should do this more often. Let's discuss and see what next topic we can cover like this.
Yeah.
And guys, do like, share, and subscribe if you want to. And we will keep putting out some videos as and when we can. So thanks a lot, everyone, for joining in.
See you.
See you.